through a subtopic or a topic in general that is all about looking at leadership. So, in today's lecture, we shall define what is leadership, and not only that, we shall also look at many more other things that one needs to know that has to be encompassed in leadership and what we expect leaders to do in a working environment, more especially in healthcare facilities. So, leadership refers to a process by which an executive can direct, can guide, and can also influence the behavior and work of others together to accomplish of a specific goal in a given situation. Okay. Furthermore, a leadership is that we are looking at the ability of a manager to induce the subordinates to work with confidence and zeal. So we expect leaders here that they must have the ability to inspire before they expire in a given looking at the subordinates that they are leading. Okay. Further still is that what could we have as in terms of leadership as influence? How can leader influence subordinates in a working environment? Leaders can influence in a way that leadership is the potential to influence, or they can influence on the behaviors of others. If a certain group of individuals or a member or individuals are possessing a certain funny behavior, then leaders can influence those members to change those behaviors. Further still, leadership can also influence in the capacity of a group towards realizing their goals. Because certain individuals, in the middle of the way, they might lose the focus. So here, leaders need to influence that group on how they are supposed to realize their goal. Furthermore, uh, leaders, they also have to influence, according to Keith. He says that leadership is the ability where one needs to persuade others to seek defined objectives, to also look at the authentically, whereby we are also looking at the human factors that have to bind together and also motivate its goals. Okay, so you need to look at the enthusiastic, that you need to persuade individuals such that they can define the objective of their organization, or even them having their own objectives. Furthermore, what could be the importance of a good leader? Okay, what could be the importance of leadership? The importance of leadership is that always leaders, we expect them in terms of a challenge or a problem, they need to initiate action that has to be done or provided to solve that problem. They also need to motivate their subordinates. Okay, if they motivate their subordinates, it will help us to know what we are supposed to do. Further still, leaders, they also have to provide guidance. Okay, they have to provide guidance such that we know what in case some individuals are kind of seeking for their guidance. Okay, they also have to create confidence. Okay, they have to create confidence such that all other individuals, they know what they are supposed to have in terms of confidence in what they are doing. Okay. Furthermore, they also have to build moral in a way that it will help them to know or to check on the behaviors of those individuals. They have to build trust. They have to build a very comfortable working environment, and also make a coordination with other individuals. Furthermore, they are also required to, at all level. Okay, So in terms of all levels, we are expecting a healthcare facilities or in a working environment, leaders are all needed in those kind of they are all needed at each kind of level. There are also another role of a leader is to represent the organization because they are the face of the organization and they have to represent the organization. So they're supposed to be or act as a representative of the organization. Furthermore, they are supposed to integrate personal and organizational goals. So they're supposed to make sure that in terms of their personal goals, they integrate it such that it can fit with their organizational goals. They are also supposed to solicit support or provide support to all the subordinates who needs the support in a given working environment. Okay. So furthermore, they're supposed also to create friends and also a philosopher which they can foresee what will happen in future and also guide employees who need the guidance. Okay. There are also we shall also look at another subtopic, that is qualities of a good leader. One of the qualities of a good leader is that the physical appearance, how you appear, it matters. Having a vision and foresight is also very important, that we look at it as being very important in a working environment. You must have a vision and foresee what to, and also have a foresight on how things are going to be. You also must be intelligent, or you must have the intelligence skills. You also must have the communicative skills. You have to be objective, not subjective. You also have to be knowledgeable of the work that you are given to work for or to work in. So you also must have the sense of responsibility, not being a leader who is responsible. You have to be confident, and you have also to have the will of power, such that it will help you to have the self-esteem within yourself. You must have the love, or that kind of humanistic, where you also feel for other human beings. You must be sympathetic, or you must have the empathy to put yourself in your client's shoes, or in other individuals shoes. Okay. Further still, we shall also look at a relationship between leadership and management. Well, there are so many relationships, or there are a number of points that we can relate to a relationship between leadership and management, because we believe the two concepts are very essential to be used in a way that it will help us to have effective management. Okay. So when we look at the side of leadership is it has got a potential to influence, while management focuses on planning and organizing. Okay, or organization. So we expect a leader to influence his subordinates or the subordinates, or we expect them to to inspire them in what they are supposed to do. However, a manager focuses on planning what will happen in future and etc., and also organizing the organization or even the employees. Further still, leadership provides direction, while management delegates authorities. Okay, so the two here is that a leader directs, show them where they're supposed to go, and however, a manager delegates the authority in a working environment. Management focuses on planning, organizing, and even controlling. However, a leadership focuses on inspiring and motivating the subordinates. Okay. Further still, leadership gains authority from followers. Management focuses on from position. So leadership gains authorities from people. Okay. However, management, you gain the authority from the position which you've been appointed to. Management also follows policies. Okay, basing on the policy of the organization, that is what a manager will use to base on his probably maybe doing certainly or giving maybe authority. However, leaders or leadership follows their own instincts, okay, or they follow their own they follow their own inner voice. Furthermore, management is more of science because we said it is the art and science which encompasses that you need people to do a given thing. However, leadership, it focuses more on art, how you're going to be creative, how you're going to, look at all the creative mechanism such that you can inspire individuals, you can also motivate individuals, and so many other things you can use in terms of leadership being an art. Furthermore, management deals with the technical dimension. For a job to be or a task to be successfully done, you must possess the technical skills in doing that specific kind of a job. However, leadership is with people's aspect. You look at people's views, and it is because of the people's views that you base on to do that job. Further still, management measures by past records. What your records in the past, where you or have you been done anything or have you done anything regards to managing or being a manager in somewhere? Maybe that is when they will give you the post of a manager in another organization. However, leadership, we are evaluating your potential. Do you have the potential to do A, B, C, D, or to do that? If so, then you possesses the potential to be a leader. Manager or management, they are reactive. However, leaders, they are reproactive. Okay? Management relies on written communication. However, leaders, for them, they base on the verbal communication. The words comes from their mouth verbally. They don't need to put it down to a written communication that has to be done or lies in management. Furthermore, how can we synergize leadership and management? We can synergize the two because we say they are both important. And if we want an organization to be successful, it has to both require leadership and management. Leadership sets direction, or leadership sets motivation of employees to be motivated, and it also influence, okay, individuals or a group of people to be influenced. However, management focuses so much or relies so much on efficient use of resources. If resources are not available, a certain activity may not be achieved. So resources have to be there such that if we want to achieve a certain activity, we use this to achieve it very, very well. Furthermore, leaders versus managers. What do we mean by this concept? We are saying that when you are looking at leaders and manager, what do we expect or how can we synergize the two? We can synergize the two in a way that because both of the words are, when you look at the synchronous, they are incorrect. Okay? But leaders, they do not require any managerial position to act as a leader. Because we say they are elected by people, it is the people who appoint them, it is the people who believes are there, they possesses those people respect and they are intelligent. That's why they are appointed as leaders. However, when we look at more on the origin of the words, a manager is a person that by virtue of his position or her position, somebody is appointed for that position. I, for one, I could be a manager because I am being appointed, in that post, maybe basing on the skills or basing on my technicality or basing on my competence that I'm having as a manager. So managerial positions are in terms of virtue to a position, while a leader is based on personal qualities, which we looked at previously in the previous slides. Okay. Furthermore, management or when in terms of formal rights here we are talking that managers have formal rights, in an organization, because you have been given a position, you have been appointed, so you have got those formal rights because of the position that you have. Okay. Leaders, leaders, it is due to their status, or it is due to their status, that leaders do not have such kind of rights. Are we together? So furthermore, in terms of followers, leaders or managers, they only have their subordinates as followers. However, when we look at the leaders, they have a group of employees who are as their followers. Furthermore, in terms of functions, managers perform all the five functions of management, like coordinating, leading, organizing, and so many other things. Okay. However, leaders, they influence people to work willingly for a group objectives. Leaders, they don't have they don't perform all those functional five managerial things that we looked at, or five functions of management. But for them, they only make sure that all members, all groups of individuals are willingly to perform their specific kind of a job, if at all they are given to that job. Okay. Furthermore, in terms of necessity, um, managers are essential for an organization. Okay. Managers are essential for that organization. However, leaders, they create they create a cardinal or a codal relation among the individuals working in an organization. Okay, so the two are different. Further still, in terms of the stability, is that managers, the position which they are having, they are stable. Okay. However, when you look at the leaders, it is the vice versa. Okay. Leaders, their positions are temporary. Anytime they can they can leave the position, which is not the same thing with the managers. Okay. Furthermore, uh, in terms of mutual relationship, all managers are leaders, and all leaders are not managers. Okay, because the two are not the same. Okay. Furthermore, we shall also look at the accountability, where we say that in terms of accountability, managers are accountable for the behaviors and performance of their employees, which is not the same thing with the leaders. Leaders have well-defined accountability. It is not the same thing with managers. Okay. So furthermore, in terms of concerns, managers focus on organizational goals. However, leaders, they focus on groups goals of individuals. They also focuses satisfying employees. Okay. Furthermore, in terms of followers, uh, uh, people follow managers by virtue of job, of description. In terms, for instance, I for one, I'm no longer working in a given an organization, so I may quit and I go somewhere else. So it means I can have something different because I'm no longer working there. Okay. So first still is that furthermore, we shall also look at authority versus leadership. Okay, this is where we're saying that authority, it is like a power, or we're looking at authority that relies legitimate, or we are looking at the legitimate on. Sorry, we are looking at authority lies on legitimate power and position. Like I mentioned, if I'm appointed as a manager, I'm having the power because of the position that I was given, okay, as a manager. So whatever I may decide, or maybe in terms of delegating authority, I will delegate because I'm having the power to do so. Okay. Further still, a leader, they influence people through personal qualities. Okay? So leaders also, they are trusted and respected by people because of their expertise or because they are experts, because of their integrity, and many more other things. Furthermore, leaders, they foster a culture of collaboration. They work with people and they also encourage feedback. The feedback that they get, it is what they are going to use to encourage the renovation and also providing a radical solution to the problems or the feedback that they have got from the people. Okay. Furthermore, we should also look at leadership and motivation. Okay, leadership and motivation. Motivation is a goal-oriented characteristics that individuals that influence a person to work harder or to work hard towards their objectives or towards given objectives. However, we expect that an effective leader, you must have a thorough knowledge on the motivational factors and what could be and for other individuals. What factors will you use for others to motivate them? Furthermore, you also must have guidelines for motivation. Okay, for guidelines of motivation, here you need to harmonize the needs of the organization, or you need to harmonize with the organizational needs. You need to appreciate and get the rewards in terms of somebody has done something good. You appreciate them, you reward them. You also need to be a role model to those individuals. Involve individuals in an important decision making, develop moral and spirit and team spirit, and also step in the shoes of your subordinates. That's why we mentioned that earlier on. When at the qualities of a leader, we say that a good leader has to be, you need to sympathize or put yourself in your client's or your subordinate shoes. Okay. Furthermore, we also have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence for leaders, which is abbreviated as EI. Emotional intelligence is a crucial or it is crucial for leaders in a dynamic, diverse work environment. So IE or EI is EI involves self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and also relationship management. Okay, so when we talk about emotional intelligence, we are saying that a very good leader, he must have the emotional intelligence in a dynamic way and also in a diverse working environment, such that it will enable him to be self-aware, to have manage himself, socializing awareness and relationship management. Leaders also influence followers through a renaissance and even poor leadership that can also lead to dissonance, whereby if you're a very poor leader, then people are not going to they're not going to follow you. Okay, but if you are, then individuals, you may influence many other more things. Further still, leaders also, they should be aware of nonverbal communication. Not most of the time the people whom you're going to represent are going to respond to you or are going to talk to you, but we believe there are other ways of individuals to communicate, which is nonverbal communication. So a very good leader, he must be aware of the nonverbal communication and also act as a role model for the people that he is leading. Furthermore, you need also to be empathy. You need to have empathy and understanding subordinates. Look at their emotions and the situations which are very vital or which they are in. Okay. Further still, feedback should always be delivered in a manner that considers insecurity and also apprehension that we expect you to check on the feedback and improve on the feedbacks. Furthermore, In terms of developing emotional intelligence, that can also lead to leaders attract and also retain talented subordinates and also keep them motivated. You need to do so. So we expect a leader that you must attract, you also must retain talented subordinates in a working environment by keeping them to be motivated. If you don't motivate them, then they might not come, they might not come back, or they may disappear and go to another organization. Okay. Furthermore, we shall also look at another subtopic, which is introduction to organizational leadership. When we are talking about organizational leadership, what do we mean by organizational leadership? Organizational leadership is essential and very essential and for organizational effectiveness, whereby leadership is both inherent and also it is acquirable, meaning that anybody can acquire leadership, okay, and anybody can also, not anybody, but there are individuals who they inherit the leadership, okay, like in the monarchy system, leadership is inherited, okay. Further still, leadership, it also encompasses psychology and expertise tactics, which will help you. Psychology help us to understand the knowledge, the thinking, and the minds, the reasoning of other individuals that we are leading. Okay, and you'll also use other several tactics that you will use to understand more of individuals in any working organization. Further still, uh, in terms of developing the skills, leadership also, it encompasses in an organization that you must develop the skills that are relevant across organizations, and you must also look at a focus. Okay, so more to that, leadership also distinguishes leaders from managers. Okay, you have to distinguish that leaders are not the same as managers. Okay. Furthermore, what could be the characteristics of the ideal organizational leader? Okay. Number one, he has to be optimistic or optimism. He has to have the empathy. He has to be responsible. He has to guide, and he should not only be nominated or nominate by guide, lead, and manage the group. Okay, you should also, or he should also, or he or she should also encourage individuals' growth and the group efficiency. He should also balance individuals and group actions. Okay. Furthermore, what are the traits of a successful organizational leader? Number one is that ambiguous. He has to be ambitious. He has to have high energy. He has to be confident or self-esteem. He has to be having intelligence. He has to be knowledgeable. He has to be honest. He has to be flexible. Not forgetting that when we are looking at you also has to develop abilities in a teamwork, communication, conflict resolution, and also problem solving. Okay. Further still, he has to be self leadership, whereby you need to be committed to you as a leader. You need to be responsible, and also you need also to be a role modeling. Okay. He also has to boost employees' morals, whereby you need to motivate the employees, understand the situation they are in, and also provide the encouragement to them. Okay. Furthermore, you also need to look at teamwork. How can a successful or what how can a leader provide teamwork with his subordinates? You need to support the team, you need to respect their opinions, and you don't need to have, most of the time you're giving authorities, you must not have all, you must be authoritarianism. So you don't have to be giving authorities to them. So further still, how could be what could be the organization leadership process? In terms of leadership process, number one is that you need to involve all employees. Okay, you need to be looking at the genuineness to the. You need to have strategic communication. of all this, if you use them, then it can help us to have the leadership, organizational leadership process. Number two, you must also have communicating mission, okay, because communication is very important in a working environment. So you must learn how to communicate with them in such a way that it will also help you to know, or you must also know the vision and as well the policies of the organization. So vision, mission, and the policies you must know to communicate them. Furthermore, you must build employees moral, that is behavior, ensuring efficient operations, and also fostering professional growth in the working environment. Furthermore, you must also look at dignity, respectfulness, serving others, justice, community building, honest, and you also must have looking at the unethical leader trains followers with respect, serves their interests, and also acting fairly for the people that he's representing. You must create an ethical working environment and also influence organizational values. When we look at also another subtopic, it looks at the leadership strategies. Strategies can a leader use, okay, to successfully have a successfully organization. So in a successful organization, the strategies of a leader are very essential, and they could be as the following. One, you need to say that because leadership is a style, it varies. My style of a leadership can be different to somebody else, okay? And this style also varies according to our personality traits and according to the situational needs. It also varies as well. So we need to avoid copying other leaders and also continuously enhance the leadership skills. But in terms of the strategies, one must have the following or must know the following strategies. Number one, we have the autocratic leadership. In autocratic leadership, it is where we expect a leader to complete control, fast in decision, but at a higher turnover. Okay. In terms of authority, we expect you that you must complete control and you also must fast decisions, but at a higher turnover. So we expect you to have all that if you are a leader, or you must use that kind of a strategy where you can complete the control and also fasten the decision making. If a decision is needed to be made very fast, then you do that very immediately. Then the laissez-faire leadership is where it's another strategy where we expect that leaders trust employees. Okay, you don't need to monitor them, follow them, what, but you trust the employees. Look at their good for the skills or good for skilled teams and etc. So here, trust is put into the employees in what they are going to do or in what they are going to perform. Okay. Furthermore, we have democratic leadership, which involves employees and also it leads to satisfaction and creativity, but it is time consuming. Okay, you're involving employees in decision making in everything, which consumes time and also, but it is leads to satisfaction of the employees. They feel like they are part of the leadership. They are part of leadership. If you're involving them to have that kind of democracy, where you will involve them in all necessary kind of steps that you are going to take in the organization. Bureaucracy or bureaucratic leadership is another strategy which is kind of a strict in terms of adherence to rules, where it emphasizes that employees they need to follow strictly on the rules or adhere to the rules and suited for the safe work environment or conditions, but disregards creativity. Okay, if they are to put on like kamamas or face masks, if they are to do a certain activities or any other rule, okay, so they need to adhere to that such that it will make them to suitable, be safe for them in a working condition, but it discourages creativity. Furthermore, What are the personal leadership brands? Okay, a leader brands distinguishes that a leader looks at the approach, it looks at the value, and then the identity. So this is what brands a leader. Okay, so there are steps that we are going to use, or there are steps that one can use to create a personal leadership brand. Number one, look at the identity, or look at the identify results to achieve. As a leader, to create yourself or to create your personal leadership brand, you need to identify the results that needs to be achieved. Number two, define distinguishing features. What is going to distinguish you from others? So define them as well. Number three, describe your leadership identity. Most of them, when they come, they define who they are. I hear some, like some leaders in politics, they say, I hear people power and etc. Create a leadership statement. You define who you are and what you're going to do. Okay. Number five, seek feedback from stakeholders, because it is always important for us to get feedback from the stakeholders. Furthermore, what could be the 5 levels of leadership? 5 levels of leadership are refined or refines successful leadership characteristics. When we look at the origin of this, it was originated done by Jim Collins and his teams in 1960s. For them, they look at the 5 leaders that describes, or the word that described as humility and as well as weight is equals to 5 levels of leadership. So five levels of leadership. So the humility, it also focuses on success that sustains beyond one's presence. Okay, and furthermore, we also need to look at the modest, the shyness, and the fearlessness. The ability to transform the organization without seeking for personal recognition. Okay, because some individuals in the working environment, they need to be recognized. Everything I do, I want to be recognized and etc. But him and his colleagues they are not looking at that. Also, another characteristics is that you need to focus on a company and also the contribution of others contribution of others, or contribution of others for over self. You don't look at yourself, but you focus on other individuals, what you're going to contribute to them. You also to understand you also need to understand the you also need to understand the hierarchical levels of leadership identity. Okay, you need to put more emphasis on personal humility, and also you need to look at the will as a key component of 5 levels of leadership. Okay, furthermore, action that can be set as 5 level leadership apart. One, you need to identify and selecting the right people for achieving the goals. Every leader needs to have those kind of a group, the right people, whom he or she will use to help him or her to achieve the goals. You must also accept brutal truth while maintaining people's hope for a better future. You also must look at consistent efforts towards the goals, the small, the small, but also the firm pushes. Okay, so you need also to be consistent. Okay, don't give up. Okay, even if something is small, but you need to keep pushing it. The in-depth understanding over a vast information. Okay, because we need it helps us to understand more about, in case terms of the change of the information, we need to understand the depth of it. Disciplined approach and strategies use of technology. Okay, action that also has to be taken here is that we need to be disciplined in terms of approaches that we're going to use, and in terms of the strategies that we're also going to use, which may also require use of technology. So we expect you to be knowledgeable, to know how to do or to use that. Okay. You also need to look at the transition from conversational leadership to 5 levels that often requires a life-changing incident. For example, Lincoln and then Gandhi and then Gandhi or Gandhi, they looked at the 5 levels of leadership. That was rare, and then they looked at the transformative. Okay, so for them, let's look at the situation leadership. So situation leadership is the kind of a style that varies that vary based on the situation and then the followers' competency and then the commitment. How people are committed, how the followers are competent is very important. For leadership style in this situation leadership model is that situation number one, it tells us that telling us that the detailed instruction and then the supervision. So in this situation one is that you need to tell or you need to be detailed when you're giving instructions and when you're providing supervisions to the people that you are leading, depending on the situation that you are handling. Situation number two is that in terms of selling, you need to control directions, where you're going, where communication. We expect you to communicate and them giving you back the communication. Situation three is that you need to look at the participating, okay? Do you have the participants who are seeking opinions and also creating friendship? So as a leader, you must participate, seek for people's opinions, and also create relationship among those individuals. Situation number four is delegating. In delegating here, as a very good leader, or in this situation leadership, you need to delegate, passing on the responsibilities to other individuals, even if you're not around. Okay, identify people who are responsible, and you pass on the responsibilities to them while you are monitoring them. Further still, in this also, the situation leadership on performance, here we are saying that leadership style influences performance and motivation. That is to say is that we are looking at how flexibility in leadership style for motivating these subordinates by using of telling, using of selling, using of participating, using of delegating based on motivational needs, and also looking at the relationship between leadership style and subordinate development. Okay, you also need to look at the leadership style adaptation to each follower development level. Okay, as a leader you need to adapt, adapt to the situation that people are in terms of change. You need to adapt to that such that even the followers, in terms of their development level, you also use this same leadership style to help you to adapt or to that. Furthermore, there are also crucial role of a leader that in terms of partnering with subordinates on their developmental journey. If the situation is so crucial like that, partner with them and lead them to their development journey. Furthermore, you also as a leader, you need to look at the leadership theories, which we believe that are very vital. They will help you to understand and improve the leadership within an organization. Okay, so that is all. Then the theories. What are the types of or theories of leadership? The types of theories of leadership are very many. Okay, but these theories are classified into two. We have behavioral and complementary theories. The behavior theories, they explore or they explain the relationship between leadership behavior and a group performance. Okay. However, the the contemporary theory, it focuses on the situation. Okay, on the situation factors like stress, what stresses people, or stress levels, and also other characteristics of leaders and then the followers. Okay. So furthermore, what could be the importance of the leadership theory? Because we say there are two. the behavior, and then the contemporary. Break and then Mouton in their managerial grid, they explain that we need to look at their grid. We shall also look at the house's path goal theory, the great man theory, the trend theory, the leadership members exchange theory, and then the transitional leadership theory. All this theory, they play a very good important part to help us to know how can we manage, how can we have leadership skills in the given organization. Furthermore, we also have a transitional leadership, continuum of leadership behavior, the latent management system, the HISE model, the Friday contingency model, and then so many other things. So in details, what are these theories that we have talked about or model of this? Breck and his colleague, they say that when you're looking at the grid, it comprises of four dimension of four boxes. Okay, where in this dimension we are looking at the two key dimensions which encompasses care, concerns for the people, and concerns for production. Furthermore, it also looks at the 5 leadership styles that are generated by this grid. Okay, to start with, we shall look at the blue. We shall look at the blue color. In the blue color, it is the leadership, or it is the team leadership. Okay, which looks at the surrounding the management. Okay, in surrounding of the management, we are looking at what surrounds a manager, and if we are ranking this kind of a team or this kind of individuals in this blue color, okay, we shall rank from high individuals or people, and we shall also look at the high on the high task. The more the high tasks you give to people, the more you know that they are going to either how could be or what could be their competency. Okay, the more you're going to be concerned on terms of the production that they're going to produce. So you're going to look at high people and then the high task. So they ranked it that in the terms of ranking from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 9, they rank it that it is 9 out of 9. Okay, then we shall, if we look at the green color, which is the produce or Polish leadership. Okay, so here we are saying that it is where we are looking at the produce that are produced by the people, or we are looking at the Polish leadership, okay, which is more into the directory or the dedicator management. When you are a dedicator, you don't let people to advise you, you are autocratic, you you dedicate, and so many other things. So in times to come, you will perish. Your leadership will perish. Okay, and if it does so, okay, if we are ranking this, so ranking it will be that we are looking at a ranking of low people, but at a higher task. Okay, further still, let us look at the light green color, which looks at the impoverished leadership. So in the impoverished leadership, it looks at the low people and then the low task, okay, whereby you're looking at indifferent management. If we are having indifferent management, even in terms of ranking, it is one by one. People maybe they are not motivated, people maybe they are not influenced, people maybe they are not influenced. That is why, because of the different management styles, then that is why they are having low, they are given low tasks, or even they are having low, the people are raw in accomplishing whatever you have given them. Lastly is the country club leadership, which is very high people but very low people. So this one is by yellow color that looks at the country club leaders, which is ranked from 1 to 9. So which is most cases looking at accommodating management. So all this kind of thing, at the end of the day, we look at the middle individuals. In the middle, we are having the middle of the road leadership, which looks at the minimum people and then the minimum tasks. Ranking it is by 5, which is the status quo management. So all these are very important that most cases it influences the concerns and the task or the results that are supposed to be performed by individuals. If you give people solo task but you want high results in future, then how are they going to produce that? So on the scale or on the on our angle, we are having the lower, which is number 1, looking at the higher, which is number 9, and on the upper section, we are also having lower and higher. The lower, the to give to people, then the higher, the maybe the results are going to produce. But the higher the task, then the higher also the result, or the vice versa is going to be, because we say that what sounds in terms of the management is also where we look at the higher tasks and higher people. So further still, in details, more to that is that the impoverished management, which is one-on-one, concerns on the lower people or concerns on the people and then the production, whereby results, it looks at the ineffectiveness, the disharmony that people are going to have with each other, the disorganization that they're going to have with each other, and also leaders preserve jobs and seniority, but also don't lead effectively. Furthermore, we also look at in the same kind of a style. We look at the task management, that is from 9 to 1, okay, where we look at the dedicatorial style, that is prioritizing on production, looking at the result has to be higher labor turnover due to the strict policies, due to the procedures which you give them to do the job, which some of them they may not feel like they want to follow, or they want to use them. So the managerial grid number 3, it looks at the middle of the load, which is 5, which comprising of style, balancing company goals and people's needs. If you balance them, each one is going to be competent, is going to be satisfied, because you're also looking at their needs and you're also looking at the needs of the company. Furthermore, results that are also looking at the average performance as either a group fully satisfied or they are not satisfied. Furthermore, the counter club, which is 9 to 1, which looks at the high concern for people and the low for production. So the results are friendly environment, whereby people are comfortable, the conducive environment, but they have production issues. So on the managerial grid number 5, team management, which is 9 to 9, it also looks at the it also looks at the consideration of effective, where we need to focus on empowerment, and we also need to focus on trust, respect, which could be the key issues. Okay. Furthermore, what could be the advantages of this Bricky and his Mutoni management Creek? They are great users for self-management or for self-assessment, whereby we expect that we need to thoroughly train the employees in this grid, okay? And we also need to aim that the ideal of this grid, we expect that there has to be a state of 9 to 9. And also the structured analysis of leadership style is also needed in this kind of a grid, because we believe that it is quite very important to have a structural analysis style, how you're going to motivate, how you're going to lead the members, because it is quite important. Furthermore, what could be the limitation of this grid? The limitation of this grid, there are also very many limitations. But what we have to bear or put in mind is that it does not cover all aspects of leadership. It does not also consider other aspects in understanding of leadership and so many other things. So the health path goal theory, it is also another theory that looks at leadership roles in classifying the path to goals and also removing the obstacles, and as well as it is also a theory that promotes servant leadership. Furthermore, it also recalls the 4 leadership styles, that is directive, supportive, participative, and also achieving the orientation. Okay. It also looks at the style choice depends on the situation and also employees' characteristics. Furthermore, we shall look at another theory, which is contingency theory or contingency in-house theory. This is the factor, or these are the factors that influence leaders to to be effective or to to be leaders who are effectiveness. So employees have the characteristics, and then they look at the work environment. So leaders or leadership style must align all the situation that employees are working in. They must also adapt the situation that they must adapt the situation or the environment that their subordinates and them themselves they are working in. Furthermore, we shall also look at a great man theory of leadership. So, a great man theory of leadership, it is the idea of whether leaders are born or they are made. So, historically and contemporary examples of great leaders, where we are saying that they are transitioning from great man theory to a great personist theory. The assumption and the theory of this is that we need to review the assumption that of the great man theory, and also we recognizes that it shifts from great man to great a great person. Okay. Furthermore, what could be the criticisms of this great man theory? The criticism is that it is gender bias. Okay. It acknowledges the contemporary shift from such kind of biases. Okay. And so many other things. So the trends of a theory, the trend theory of leadership, we believe that they are key trends associated with the effective leaders. The predictions of leadership and effectiveness is based on the trends of a leader or a trends of a person. Okay, so what could be the core trends of an effective leader? The core traits of an effective leader, it recalls it recalls the like achievements, drive. It calls where we expect a leader to be honest, a leader to be self-confident or self-esteem. It also looks at these are the preconditions that are for a leader or a leadership potential, and what could be the strength and the advantages of the trend theory. The trend theory looked at self-assessment and empowerment, because we said that leaders have to be self-confident, and when they are self-confident, they are self-empowered. Okay. The trend theory also provides tools for leadership development. Okay. It allows them room to grow, room to develop, and so many other things. The limitation on the other side, they have subjective, or they are subjective in terms of judgments, and also complex trends which are listed. Leadership also, the leadership qualities are manifested. Okay. Furthermore, we shall look at another theory, which is the theory of leadership member exchange theory, which is abbreviated as LMX theory. So this is a theory that focuses on the dynamics of leader follow on a leader follower relationship. So people looks at how your relationship with them and the relationship with also your followers. More to that, leaders do not treat all subordinates the same way. Okay, but we look at how their trust is to them, how they are loyal to them, how they are supporting them, how they are respecting them, how they are obligated in all these kind of relationships. Okay. Furthermore, what could be also in the in and the out group distinction. Leaders are different relationship with their subordinates, which we believe it is also a very true statement. Because in here, we are looking at the in group, or we are looking at the inner circle group, and we are looking at the outside group. In the inner group members, they receive more attention. Okay, it's like you being a leader, but you're having your gang or your crew. So you give more special treatment to your crew, okay, because you are having that kind of a bond with them. And also you look at also the organizational resources. So in the inner group, so the in group members receive more attention and organizational resources. However, the outside group, they receive fewer resources and maybe less attention. And also more to that, the distinction is based on the perceived similarities and then the competences. Furthermore, what could be the stages of leader-follower relationship? We look at the role taking. Okay, one of the stage of this is that look at the role taking. Leaders assess new members' ability, their competences, what they can do, etc., such that they can give them a role that they can take. Number two, role making. In case maybe they have seen, in terms of informal negotiation between leaders, members, maybe you have negotiated with the members and you have identified that they possess more unique skills, then you can make for them a role. Then betrayal at this stage may also be lead out to group status. Further still, in terms of ranking this LMX whatever 7 scale, it is where we look at the measures. We measure respect, mutual respect, we measure trust, and we measure obligations that a leader may have together with his subordinates or with the group that he's leading, whereby we determine, or this determines in the in and the out group status. Okay, it also looks at the in group members. They have the personal exchange with the leaders, or they have more time with the leaders, personal exchanges of all ideas and everything, because they have more time with the leader than the out group status. Then furthermore, what could be the strength of this theory? The strength of this theory is that it focuses on specific leader-subordinate relationship. Okay, it also robust and also looks at the practical theories. Okay, it also looks on communication in relationship. Sorry, it also looks at the communication in leadership, which is a very key important thing. However, on the other side, it has got its criticisms. The criticisms here is that it fails to explain how high quality exchange are created with the in group, okay, and even maybe the out group. Okay. Number two, it also raises fairness and justices concerns regarding the in group favorism compared to the out group. So it's such that it raises that the justice is not based any or the fairness with the two groups of individuals. Further still, in terms of the in-group members, they perform better, they have higher job satisfaction, they receive more support and even mentoring from the leader. However, it is the vice versa with the out group. Further still, in terms of also they have got the higher retention rates. Okay, they have the increased salaries, they have more promotion for the in-group members, which is not the same case with the outside group. Okay, further still, we shall also look at another theory which is called transformational leadership theory introduction. So this theory, it is where we are expecting that leaders, they inspire members to go beyond a given task requirements. They also characterized by the vision, the charisma of a leader, and other four key factors. That is Inspiration factor, where you inspire the vision, the mission, and the values of the organization. Interactional stimulation, where you encourage, where you look at encouragement of motivating or sorry innovation. Okay, that has to be done in the with the organize with the employees in the organization. You look at also the idealized influence, where which leads or which focuses on leading by example or be exemplary in your term of leadership management. We also have individualized considerations that when you're mentoring members, you need to focus, look at how you're going to mentor them and how you're going to reward them basing on the talent that the groups or the subordinates are possessing. Further still, what could be the criticisms of this theory? The criticisms is that it can be or it can lead to self-promotion by leaders. Okay, self-employed. Sorry, leaders can self-promote. They can self-promote themselves. Number two, it can also or it is also difficult to teach as it is combines multiple leadership theory, because for you to successfully have the change, you have or to take through the transition, you must or to transform the group or the subordinates, it requires a lot of theories that you're going to apply as a leader to achieve that transition. That's why we are saying that it is very difficult to teach them and also to combine all that we have mentioned. Furthermore, it is also risky uh, in terms of followers being manipulated. Okay, it is also risky in terms of the followers they are being manipulated. Furthermore, what could be the implications of transformational leadership theories? The implication is that it is effective in day-to-day uncertainty, but also a turbulent environment. Okay, such that whatever happens in the way, we have to know in the environment where we are working in. Sometimes it is very difficult to transform the environment because there are and because of what is happening in the environment. It also results into high job satisfaction, commitment of the employees, and also organizational citizenship behaviors. Okay, it also results to transactional leadership theory introduction. It also focuses on controlling, organizing, and short-term planning. It also utilizes rewards and punishment for motivation. Okay. Furthermore, what could be the four dimension of this transactional theory? The four dimension, we have the contingent rewards, which looks at goal link rewards and also looks at the smart goals. Okay, where we need to look at, we need to have specific goals. They have to be measurable, they have to be accurate, they have to be reliable, and they have to be timely bound or timely managed. Number two, active management by expectation, where we need to monitor and also look at corrective action. We also need to look at passive management by expectation, that has to involve interventions when standards are not met. The laser three, it has to empower subordinates to make their own or to make decisions. So assumption of this transition is that motivation or motivated by reward and punishment. If we want people to be motivated, or if people keep on doing maybe bad behaviors, punishment have to be done, and also rewards have to be done. So these two ways of motivation, it will at least help people to successfully accomplish the goals of the organization. Then number two, subordinates must obey orders or rules, and also they are not self motivated. Okay. Further still, what could be the implication of this theory? The implication is that it looks at effective for simple. Okay, meaning that effective for simple, well-defined organizational problems. Okay, it is looks at the effective, which could be maybe a simple manner, but it has to well-define the organizational problems so that people get to know the problems of the organization. They tend to ignore the creativity and the new ideas is also something a challenge because we said we expect transformation to occur. So what brings transformation is the creativity and then the new ideas, the innovation that are brought by other members. If we ignore them, then we are going maybe to ignore something very, very important. Then it also focuses on the efficiency and cost cutting. Okay, focuses on the efficiency where we don't want to utilize resources or waste resources, and also cutting the costs. In summary, that is the two, the transformational theory, the transformational, and then the transitional leadership, whereby all of them we look at the aspects. We have three aspects, that is leadership approach, organizational culture, and management. So the two are it response, transaction response, and also transformation proactivate. Then transactional works within the culture of the organization. However, transformational aims on changing the culture. Lastly, transactional looks at the self-interest of the employee. However, transformational appeals to the higher ideas of the employees. Further still, we shall also look at the four management style. The four management style is the Renzi, Rackent, and his associates who identified the four districts of the four district management system. So this system it reflects on the different leadership style and their impact in the organization. System number one, it looks at the exploitative authority, where we look at some certain people, they exploit their authority, okay? Whereby in terms of responsibility, at a upper echelons, in terms of lack of trust and subordinates, in terms of decisions imposed on the subordinates, in terms of the little teamwork, the low communication, and even the motivation, which threatens the employees and when they are working. So people who misabuse that their authority, it has also got their implications. Number two, which is the number two system, is that the benevolent authority. The benevolent authority, it looks at the responsibilities at a managerial levels, which is conceding trust in subordinates, limited communication, motivating through a system of rewards. If, for example, if you want to award employees, there has to be a system which you'll use to award them. Furthermore, in the third system, which is consultative. So in the consultative, it looks at the responsibility which spread through the hierarchy. Okay, it also looks at the substantial but not confident in subordinates. It also looks at a fair amount of communication and also the teamwork. It also looks at motivation has to be based on rewards and motivation. Okay, so system number four is participative. In participative, we expect that responsibility is widely spread through the hierarchy and also high confidence in subordinate, which has to be given or seen, and also high teamwork, communication, and also participation is seen at this level. Okay, so further still, what could be the profile organizational characteristics? The profile organizational characteristics, according to Rackent, he described that the four management system that we have discussed are based on various organizational variables. These variables, they include leadership processes, which we looked in the previous slides, motivational process, which we also looked at, communication process, interactional influence process, decision making process, and also goal setting and controlling process. Okay, so Lackent research findings is that when you Lackent conducted an extensive research to confirm the impact of this management system, the first system that we have talked about. So in terms of department using system 1 and 2 were less productive in his findings. And in department which were using 3 and 4 were more active because members participated in and all those kind of issues. Okay, members participated and we expected them to consult whatever they were doing, which is 3 and 4. Okay, so furthermore, what could be the advantage of this? Advantage is that it looks at the quantitative results in a group dynamics. Okay, it also measures soft areas of management like trust, communication, which are key areas in management. To conclude in his findings, he says that the closure alignment with the system 4, which involves participation, it leads to better outcome because members or employees or subordinates, you will include them to participate, and when you let them to participate, better results or better outcome will come out of it. Furthermore, but the longer term improvement in staff turnover or the high productivity or the low costs or the high earnings, it could be because you are not respecting them, or maybe you're not motivating them, and etc. and all that. Further still, idea for achieving organizational goals is also another thing that if we want to achieve them, then we must be creative. We must have very many ideas that we can use for achieving the organizational goals effectively. Further still, we shall also look at the Haysen or Heise model, branchard model. So Haysen branchard model, it is a model that focuses on leadership readiness. Okay, so in this model, it is where we are looking at leadership styles that needs to adopt readiness of subordinates. It also has got four things to talk about to make employees or subordinates to be ready. Ready, number 1, looks at the low followers readiness. Number 2, it looks at the low moderate follower readiness. Number 3, it looks at mid moderate to high follower moderate. Lastly is higher follower readiness. So when you look at this leadership style, is that if you want to adopt to be ready, scenario 1 is telling us that you need to tell us to know how the law, how you need to tell the situation why people should always need to get ready. Okay, you need to sell. Okay, selling them why they should get ready. Okay, you need also to let them to participate. You need also to let them to delegate. That is when they are going to be ready, when they are performing, when you want them to get ready using this kind of leadership styles. Furthermore, we shall also look at the Fadela's contagious model, which emphasizes on the relationship between leaders and the organizational performance. It is also a leadership style that is contingent on the student in a given working environment. So Friedis, in his contagious model, he looks at the strengths of a leader. Okay, and he also says that when he developed this model, he looked at the latest preferred co-worker that are on the scale to assess the leader's attitudes. That is from a higher score that indicated that that indicates a relationship-oriented leader, while a low score indicates that a task-oriented leader. Okay, so the latest performance co-worker is where we are saying that looking at high and low. Okay, higher, you're looking at the relationship oriented as a leader. What is your relationship between you as a leader and your subordinates? Okay, the lower latest preferred co-worker, it looks at the tasks that are supposed to be oriented to the leader. Okay, maybe it is what that can make him to perform more properly. The situation factor is that This is where we're looking at the behavior depends on the favorability of the situation. If the situation favors, then the behavior is also going to depend on the situation. Other factors also include leader member situations like task structures, the position of power. It also matters so much. Further still, what could be also the leadership effectiveness? In leadership effectiveness, we are looking at that the determined by the interaction of leadership style and also situation characteristics. Okay, we also look at the task oriented leaders excel in highly favorable and unfavorable situation, while relationship oriented leaders thrive in intermediate favorability. Okay. Furthermore, how can we look at leaders and then trust? Because we believe that a leader has to be trusted by people, and trust is a crucial thing for leaders. So, trust is built on characteristics like truth, proficiency, commitment of a leader, reliability of the leader, and sincerity of the leader. Furthermore, how can we build trust? Trust can be built looking at leaders must keep followers to be informed, be fair to them, be honest to them, maintain their promises, and also trust is centered on leadership, fosters a positive and a productive worker environment. We also need how can we have effective leadership skills? We can have effective leadership skills through through motivation, through commitment, through honesty, through determination. We can also respect, leaders also need to respect their followers, their opinions, encourage them to participate, and also create a talented workforce for the talented subordinates. They also need to look at the true leader must have a vision that aligns with organizational goals. A true leader must have a vision that should be rational, motivating, and also reflect on the organizational beliefs and culture. Lastly, a true leader must also inspire before he expires. That is my presentation for today. Thank you so much for listening to me in all about leadership. Back to you, Mr. Samuel. Mr. Samuel? Mr. Samuel? Mr. Samuel, I think I'm done with my presentation, sir.